What's up guys, this is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about personal development for INFJs and how to create an epic life on your terms. Today we're talking about why INFJs feel like observers. It's actually something you read in descriptions all the time, and I remember when I first started learning about MBTI, I even saw it on those pages where they were talking about celebrities that are INFJs, and it was really a quote that I saw over and over again that INFJs and celebrities who are INFJs just said, "I've always felt like an observer. That's who I am." And it felt like something that we should be proud of, something that we should embrace. But the truth is, I never liked it. I was telling myself that that's a good thing because I saw, okay, that's how INFJs are, and I tried to make peace with it. But deep down, I never liked it. I never liked being an observer to my own life. And with time, I recognized that you can change that. Being an observer is not something that INFJs are. This is not hard science. This isn't something where you can't deny it. It's something that we together find out. And being an observer for INFJs very often means that you put your dreams on the back burner, and that just doesn't have to be the case. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you want to take the next step in creating your INFJ epic life and stop being an observer to your life, then work with me privately. All the information you find below. So let's back it up here. So what does it mean when people say INFJs are observers, or we as INFJs feel like observers? It means that in our life, we feel like things are happening outside of our control. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I always want to be the leader in everything. I actually enjoy it so much when I'm with my friends and I allow them to take the lead. I remember this one time when we went to this festival and I had such a hard week that time, and I was doing so much for this channel, and I really stood up and was a leader all that time that I needed to. And on that weekend, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed just laying back, letting my friends decide where we go, and just enjoying the show. So I know where this is coming from. And I'm the last person who's gonna say, oh, you have to take charge and convince other people to do what you want, and that's how you're gonna stop feeling like an observer, because that's just not the case. I've tried it before. I've been in situations where I said to myself, okay, I don't wanna feel like this anymore. I'm going to do those things that I see others do. I'm going to organize my birthday party, or I'm going to start wearing more fashionable things. There were those things that people told me that they enjoyed so much while doing them, and I wanted to feel that feeling. I remember it so distinctly, having my friends around me and feeling like they're enjoying life. They're enjoying what they're doing. And the only reason why I did things was because people expected me to, or because others said this is going to be fun. I remember not being able to enjoy being in the moment. And so of course I identified with being an observer. So when we talk about being an INFJ who stops being an observer of their own life, we're neither talking about you being in charge all the time. You can still enjoy your friends taking charge and saying what they want to do and you enjoying the moment. That's okay. And it also doesn't mean that you have to do those things that seemingly make other people happy. You don't have to present yourself on Instagram how others do just because you feel like, okay, they are having fun doing it and I'm just not. I just have to find where it's at, or there's something wrong with me. None of that. But in the end, we are being observers so often because of our last function, extroverted sensing. See, that last function is something that we value so much, but that we know we don't have that much strength in. And that's the key component. We love it, so we rather live vicariously through others so we can experience that, because we very often see that they do have more SE. SE being in the moment, enjoying what you're doing. SE is not about working out or cooking. Those are physical things maybe, but us engaging in them doesn't mean that we will stop feeling like an observer. You starting to work out is not gonna make you feel any better in that regard. Like, please work out if it helps you. It's good for your body, it's good for your health, and it's good for your physical energy management. By the way, that's part of the 5 pillars to an epic life. If you haven't downloaded the free poster yet, you can find it below. But regardless of that, when it comes to feeling like you're in charge of your life, you're creating that epic life, that thing that we all so want. That's why I created all the system around creating that epic life as an INFJ, because I felt and I experienced it to be possible. When we want to stop feeling like an observer, it's about the combination of introvert intuition and extroverted sensing. Not just extroverted sensing by itself, like working out or doing all those physical things. That means you have an idea, you have a vision, and it's about time that you bring that vision into reality. As long as you're not doing that, you'll always feel like an observer. The moment I stepped out of that role of an observer, that's when I really started feeling alive. And since having done this for the first time, I've never gone back. And I haven't gone back because the benefits outweigh the price so much. But there is a price to pay. We have to be aware of that. And so often that price is keeping us where we're at. Because the moment you say, I'm going to step into my SE, two things will happen. On the one hand, you have to admit to yourself that you cannot live vicariously through other people. Because by you getting into that SE mode, you automatically won't be able to absorb so much from others as you have before. It's like you can't be listening if you're talking. All our life, our default mode is listening or absorbing, the NI thing, right? You experience others' energy, with that also excitement that comes from their actions, their SE, them living in the moment, and this happens on autopilot. So the moment you start speaking, the moment you start expressing yourself, and with speaking, I'm not just talking about like really speaking, I'm saying living out that truth of yours, showing parts of you that you have hidden so far. That kind of speaking, expressing your being through SE, doing the things that are vision, but you haven't put into reality yet. Doing those things that you actually know will work or will probably work, but you never dared to put them out there. And as I said, one of those things we have to accept is the fact that we cannot live vicariously through other people. And the second one is that our SE just isn't that powerful. It isn't. And that's a scary thing, because once you commit to that road, what happens? Well, people can judge you for the first time like they have never been able to judge you before. INFJs are being called observers because so often we don't reveal so much about ourselves. We are private beings, and I'm not saying that you should stop being a private being. I still am. No matter what I do, there seems to be parts of me that barely anybody knows, and it will stay this way. That doesn't mean that I'm trying to be mysterious, and on the other hand, I'm also not trying to be an ESTP or an ENFJ and put things out there that aren't really me. The way I express myself and the way you as an INFJ will express yourself is still very uniquely INFJ. The things we talk about, the things we care about, the way we express ourselves, those are the things that make you you. And of course, INFJ is not like INFJ. You are your unique human being, and that will never change. And once you step into your SE, you will see that the fact that SE isn't strong won't bother you at all, because you have one strength, and that is the NI world. The fact that you're going to bring this into the real world, the combination of them two, that's what's gonna make it special. If you have an ESTP, for example, which has all the functions INFJ have, just in reverse, their SE is that much stronger, meaning they live in the moment. They do thousands of things when we can only do one, but their vision isn't as broad as ours. And it's normal. You're either more in your introverted world or you're more on the outside, but there's still two parts to the spectrum. So you, as well as any other type, have the exact same chances at creating an amazing life on your terms as any other type. Because we all have strengths when it comes to our functions, and we have weaknesses. And the combination of it all makes us all equal. You have equal opportunities as everybody else, and there's no such thing as, oh, INFJs are doomed to live as an observer. They cannot live out their dreams, and other types can. You will have, with every personality type, people who are way more active than others. You'll have, with every personality type, people who are way more ambitious or want to achieve things, are much more disciplined. So you as an INFJ don't have less chances of creating that epic life than somebody of another type. The difference is that we don't have that many role models. If I'm an ISFJ and then I see other ISFJs being successful in their way, in a way that makes them happy, because remember, success is not based on if other people think it's great, it's not based on if it looks good on paper, it's based on, are you feeling you're bringing your gifts out? Are you feeling like you're living that epic life? And if you're an ISFJ and you see other ISFJs living that, representing that, that can influence influence you, that can motivate you, and you know in what direction to go to find that place within you that will make you happy. But us INFJs, we don't have that many role models. Yes, you see me, you see other people on YouTube, but that's something that developed the last years. Altogether, it is the rarest type, meaning we don't see people that much in the media. We don't see people in our surrounding that we can look up to. So we're all just figuring it out, and hopefully the next generations will have way more role models than we ever had. For me, it was a lot of trial and error. I didn't have that many role models, especially INFJs that I could look up to. For me, it was more of looking into how ESTPs were behaving, that kind of energy. I found my inner ESTP and put that out there. I found my inner warrior and made that a point in my life. I decided from now on, I will fight. I will start talking. I will not be listening anymore to that extent that I used to. Because of course it's a beautiful thing. Of course it's a great way to understand other people, to be empathetic, to be part of a community, and to just connect with others so deeply. There's something magical about it, and we don't want to miss out on that. But be honest with yourself. How often have you been too involved with your friends, your family, your partner? I know I have. I know when I was, for example, in my earlier 20s, I knew absolutely everything about my best friend. I knew her hobbies, I knew what she liked, I knew what kind of music made her happy, and I was so focused on living through her. I did this without recognizing that I was neglecting myself, that I was putting myself in this position. Because the price, as I said, will be that the moment you start expressing your truth and you cannot listen to others to that extent, like absorb that much from others, you cannot live through them. And at the same time, they won't be that dependent on you. We very often have this deep fear that unless we're doing things for others, we're not lovable. It has a lot to do with the fact that SE is our last function, because as kids, that function is even weaker. As kids, we depend even more on others experiencing things, and we will live through that because we understand what's going on. We're way more empathetic than others. These functions grow with time, and the younger we are, the more pronounced the first functions are than the last. So that we come from this place, that this is our default state, that's nothing to be ashamed of. That's a beautiful thing. That's the way we experience the world. But now we're strong enough to tap into SE. Not to that extent that it will ever be as strong as, for example, it is for an ESTP, but it doesn't have to be. Our magic gift is our NI. But as long as it only stays in your mind, or as long as you're only using it to understand others and not express who you are so others can understand you, you will always feel like you're an observer. Because in order to feel like you're the leading character of your movie, others have to understand you, at least to an extent. And if you're not expressing who you are, they will never be able to. See, it's not that easy because we understand others so well. It's hard to imagine that others cannot understand us. We all know that we understand others, then maybe they understand us. But we're not aware of how little they can understand us since we're not sharing so much of ourselves. We're sharing what we have in common with that person. We're hiding those things that might make them judge us. Because what for? They haven't deserved to find out that part of us. But if you're not putting out those things that can be judged, you will not be able to remove the people from your life who don't belong there because they have different values, and you cannot attract the people who see you and want to connect with you through your truth, through your epic life, where you're the leading character of your movie. We want every person to be the leading character of their movie and then connect with each other in a way that it still makes sense, where everybody wins and we experience this holistic, amazing life together. But we cannot make others live their best life, no matter how much we want to. The thing we can do though is to commit to bringing those gifts, your ideas that are uniquely you, that maybe others wouldn't dare to put out in the world because they seem so much out there. But your vision tells you that is possible. Now make it a reality. Make it it an example. Stop being an observer to your own life. It doesn't have to be this grandiose, huge thing. Take one step after the other. Dare to put those visions of yours in the real world, and you will see how not only you will stop feeling like an observer, you will see how you will inspire others to take their own path as well, and you'll help them to connect with you in a way that you never felt possible before. So once you do that, you not only feel like you're taking charge, you'll also stop feeling that alone. Because one of the reasons why we feel so alone is because others can't see us. So make yourself seen. Stop being an observer to your life. Go and express your truth. I really hope that inspired you to take that next step, because you do have the power and you have the discipline to make it happen. Remember, if you want my help with this, then work with me privately. All the information you find below. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video on INFJs who don't care. Like always, guys, I wish you a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time. Bye.